Howdy folks, it is Friday, October 10th, and it is boat show weekend, and we're at the boat spending the night here, and we're going to go into the boat show tomorrow sometime during the day and spend the day there, as well as possibly the evening, because we have like a little after hours boat show party that we're going to try to go to. So we are here. The weather is cold. How cold is it? 62 degrees, so now we're finally starting to get into fall, and the weather, we have that big storm brewing off the coast right now, and we're supposed to get a possible rain tomorrow. They said like a 50% chance of rain, and then Sunday or Saturday night going into Sunday, the heavy rain. So we're supposed to get like really heavy rain for this storm, but it's going to be mostly on Sunday. So we'll see how the boat show goes. Last week, the powerboat show, they had some flooding in Annapolis, which is kind of normal now, I think. But we'll see if we end up getting flooded tomorrow. Right now, the tide is really high, so you probably can't see where we are. Like if you look in the back there, the water's almost up to the docks. It's normally not that high. And when we pulled into the parking lot at the marina, the water was up into the street. It's not in the parking garage yet, but it's pretty close. So we'll see what the tide does with all this storm off the coast and all the rain coming in Saturday night and Sunday. Today, what we did is stopped at a food truck on the way here and picked up a couple burritos, and then stopped at Crooked Crab Brewing and picked up some beer. And we're just going to hang out here tonight and head into the boat show in the morning. Alright, it's Saturday morning. Just made some coffee, and we're going to head out to the show. It doesn't open till 10 o'clock, so it's still pretty early. So we'll wait, do a few things around the boat, and then head over to the show. So this year at the show, I'm not looking for anything in particular. Last year I bought our Rocknet anchor. This year, nothing in particular that we really need. So there's always stuff there though that you think you might want, so we'll have to go and see what they've got. They usually have good deals on rope, and clothes are always seem to be well priced there. So we'll head over there and see what it is that we can't live without this year. Alright, we are back from the boat show, and it's the day after, actually. It's Sunday. It's the day that storm from the Atlantic Ocean is coming up the coast, and maybe in the background you can hear occasionally the wind is howling out there, and the boat's moving around a lot in the slip. So you can hear the fenders rubbing over on the side. But successful boat show, I think, yesterday overall. We didn't really buy anything, but what happened is
the first thing we did as soon as we got there is went to the IPYOA meetup. So it's the Island Packet Yacht Owners Association meetup that they do at noon every year at the Fleet Reserve Club, and it's in the top of the Fleet Reserve, where they serve food and everything there as a fundraiser for their group. So we always buy food and have lunch there with IPYOA. So there, we talked to some people there, had an interesting conversation with Hayden, who is the organizer of the IPYOA, and we talked to him about chain plates. So chain plates on our boat are internal, which means behind the woodwork here, there is the chain plates are fiberglassed onto the inside of the hull, and those are kind of controversial, because they're fiberglass to the hull. They're very difficult to replace. All of this woodwork has to come out here, and then they have to be ground out and then put back in the reverse way. So it's a pain in the butt to do, costs a lot of money. There are companies that do it, including one that is always at the IPYOA meetups, and that is Mac Yacht Services with Colin Mack. And I think I talked about him last time we went to the boat show, because we talked to him for a while then. But this time we talked to Hayden about chain plates, and the concern with the chain plates is because they're inside the hull. If they're not sealed from the top of the deck, so up here, water can get down inside there, get trapped, and then cause corrosion. And then the corrosion can eat through the stainless steel and cause it to break. So they recommend having them replaced when the boat is, say, in the 20 to 30 year range, which is right where our boat is. And Hayden had a different take on the problem, though, saying that instead of corrosion being the issue, he thinks that it is the chain plates when the rigging was first installed on the boat. So when the boats were brand new, they shipped the boats out by truck to places on the East Coast, and one of which was a dealer in Rock Hall that sold all of the island packets for the Chesapeake Bay. And what he says happens is when they put the chain plates in, they were straight up and down. But when they installed them, the dealer said, hey, you're going to need to bend the lower shroud chain plates inward a little bit to get them to match the angle of the lower shrouds. And so he said how they bent that is probably what's causing the ones that have failed to fail. Because he said it's only about 20 boats or something that have had that problem where the chain plates have actually broken. So he said it's possible that they bent them, not in a nice way, and then or bent them too far, bent them back, and then to get them at the right angle. And that movement back and forth, or even just the bending, could have been the cause of the failure over time. So I don't know. I haven't looked at our chain plates to see how much they are bent or not. So, but I know our boat did not come from the Rock Hall dealership. It came from a dealership in New Jersey. So maybe we have different bends in ours than the Rock Hall boats do. He said his boat didn't come from Rock Hall, I think he said, and it came from Maine. And he said the place in Maine had a different method of bending them with a hydraulic press, and it was more precise and that sort of thing. So he said when he had his chain plates redone at 20 or 30 years, whatever the recommendation was, they were perfectly fine. So, and that happens to a lot of people. They redo the chain plates, they're perfectly fine, and then by that point, there's nothing you can do about it, because you can't see anything wrong with them until you remove all the woodwork and then take them all the way out. So, so interesting conversation about whether or not the chain plates even need to be done. So I think, though, it's something that we'll have to do at some point. What his recommendation was like, if you're sailing around the Chesapeake Bay, you're fine. But if you're planning on taking it out into the ocean, then or taking it offshore where the chance for heavy weather exists, then you may want to consider having them replaced. But that was interesting conversation with him at the IPYOA meetup. Then after that, we walked around the tents and checked out the booths. Like I said before, there's nothing really that I needed to buy. There's because We bought the anchor last year, and that was like one of the big things that we needed, but nothing major that we needed from the boat show. So one of the things that I did look at that I thought was interesting is there's a place called Signal Mate LED navigation lights. And I stopped to talk to them because I know our navigation lights are still incandescent lights, and at some point I want to replace them with LEDs. And with the LEDs, there's kind of two ways you can do it. You can either replace the bulb itself with an LED bulb that goes in the incandescent fixture, which isn't as reliable, I don't think. I think that those bulbs tend not to last as long. Or you can replace the entire fixture with an LED fixture, which is what LED Mate sells. And these are all the different types they sell, and then there's pictures of them there. But they have one of their claim to fame, or their thing that they say that they do different, is they have LEDs generate heat. So a lot of times people will make the fixtures, the LED generates heat, there's no way for it to dissipate, so the LED eventually burns out. So they have these various little ridges on all of their pieces that are supposed to dissipate the heat. So that's their special thing. But looking at this, they're very expensive just for the entire fixture. So for example, I was looking at the masthead light, which is the one at the very top. And what I have up there is just an anchor, but you can also on a sailboat have a tricolor light, which has the red, green, and the white light in the back, and the anchor light. But for the tricolor, which is the one they had there, that was $400 for just the tricolor. They had a boat show special, 25% off, so it was $300. The one that I think, let's see, the one that I would actually probably buy would be just the anchor light, because I don't need a tricolor light because I have my red and greens up on the bow of the boat. The white anchor light alone, that by itself is still $240 for the fixture. The other one that I was interested in was the deck light, which goes halfway up the mast and puts light on the deck. And right now ours is burnt out, so but I never use it anyway. But theirs was nice because it had a white or red light, so you could, if you needed like to preserve night vision, you can use a red light instead. And that one was on sale $502, regular price $670. So that's a lot of money for a fixture. For a light fixture. So I'm not sure I want to go that route just yet, but it was interesting talking to them about that. Another thing that we kind of saw was that's popular in the IPYOA circle is engine mounts, or the motor mounts. So there's a place called Ellebogen, and it's Ellebogen, and I think they're out of Germany, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere in Europe. But their thing is they make these really high quality motor mounts for half the price of what regular motor mounts cost if you got them from Yanmar or something, or whatever, whoever the maker of the motor is. But it was interesting looking at their little booth and seeing how they all work, and they had all these demonstrations and computer simulations, how they test theirs and that sort of thing. So that was pretty interesting. Another thing we did is we went and looked at the Island Packet boat that is there. We also went on a couple other boats, a catamaran, one or two catamarans, but the Island Packet boat was a Island Packet 439, I think. So it's like 47 feet overall with the bowsprit, and it's interesting to see. And always like anytime we see another Island Packet, you can definitely see there are a lot of things that are similar to our boat. That's things that they haven't really changed a lot, but then there are a lot of upgrades, like the one we looked at, the 439. Even though it's considerably 10 feet longer than ours, and I think 4 or 5 feet wider than ours, it had cool stuff like in the back where we have our galley there. It had a little space that had a washer and dryer and a freezer, and but as far as like the number of people that you can accommodate, it's pretty much the same. They had a V berth. Their V berth on that one was up front, but then the head, where our head is right over there, then their head is way further up in the front, and then the V berth is kind of in front of or behind and next to that. So, but it did have 2 heads and 2 showers in it too. So and that was on the other side. The aft cabin had, or the quarter berth had its own head and shower in there. So definitely a lot of fancy stuff in that, but they're super expensive. I think that one was, how much was that one?
$6.99.
Yeah, that one was a used one they were selling that was a few years old. They wanted $6.99 for it. And when we were going in, the people who currently own Island Packet were there, and the guy who owns it was talking about how the boats they do now. He said they don't do anything for dealers. He said everything they do is almost a one-off custom boat, and they only make so many a year. So, and he said they cost like $1 million a boat. So they're expensive boats, but they're well made and well put together, and a lot of fancy stuff put on there. Contrast that to, was interesting seeing some of the catamarans, which, you know, are in that price range as well, and much bigger, and they look a lot fancier. We went into one. I just thought that like the cabinet work and everything didn't even look like it was real wood. It looked like it was veneered or laminated, you know, some type of laminated fake wood. And then it didn't have handholds like going up and down the stairs to get down to the different berths and stuff. So it was just kind of weird how it kind of had a fake look to it, or a fake nice look to it, but you could tell that the quality wasn't there, like you see on like the Island Packets, for example. So after we looked around at the booths, what we did next was, while we were at the IPYO meetup, there was another person there from a company called Sunshine Cruising Yachts. So Sunshine Cruising Yachts is a yacht broker. They're based out of Florida, somewhere, I think, St. Augustine, Florida, or something like that. And they're based out of Florida, but they sell boats all over, and they specialize in Island Packets. So they came to the Island Packet meetup, and they gave out these little wooden tokens to everyone who was there. And at 4 o'clock, you take your token and bring it to their booth, and then they gave you one of these neat little stainless steel mugs that has their logo on it there. And on the back it says Annapolis 2025. And then it had like rum punch in it or something like that. But it's a cool little thing that they were giving away. That's a nice little size insulated stainless steel mug. And then after that, last thing we did, IPYOA is close with Colin Mack and Mack Yacht Services. So Mack Yacht Services had their own little meetup after the show. So we went over to that one, and they had free pizza and rum punch drinks again. So we had some drinks there, talked to a couple people. One from the I have the card somewhere. One from the rigging company, which is a company that's based here in Annapolis as well as in somewhere in the Caribbean, and they do the rigs on boats. So that was one of the things that in addition to the chain plates on our boat, that I was thinking at some point we're going to need as a rig inspection. Even though I know our rig is fairly new when we bought the boat, and there are no indications that there are problems with it. It was interesting talking to the guy from the rigging company and seeing like his thoughts and opinions on inspections and sailboats and that sort of thing. So after that, we walked back to the boat and spent the night on the boat. And like I said, today is Sunday. So again, we got up, made some coffee, and for today, our plan is, I think, we're going to go to lunch at Bread and Butter Kitchen, which is right down the street from our boat. And then we're going to go to Trader Joe's and go shopping and then head home. And boat show weekend will be over. But that is about it that I think we did at the show. I think as far as what I have planned for the channel, we're going to head out of here, like I said, today. I want to come back next week. I want to do some more on this woodwork, and actually what I'll probably do before I do more on the woodwork is I want to wax the hull, or the tops, or not the hull, but wax the top sides, because I haven't done the top sides in a while. So I want to get those waxed, and then I'll focus on doing more on the woodwork. I kind of, well, I'll explain the woodwork thing when I do the video, but for now that's all I've got. And hopefully this weekend, or this coming weekend, I'll have enough time to put another video together. So I will see you folks later, hopefully with a video sooner rather than later, because I know I've been kind of lazy in putting out videos and doing stuff, but I've been super busy with other stuff, but that is all I have for now. I will see you folks some other day.